the voice beneath the vent. Every night, around 3:13 a.m., Mason would wake up to a soft knocking. Not on the door, not on the window, but from the air vent above his bed. At first, he thought it was the old pipes or rats in the walls. But one night, when he listened closely, he realized the knocking had a pattern. 3 slow knocks. A pause. Then one more. Almost like a code. He tried to ignore it for weeks, burying his head under the pillow. But the sound kept getting louder. And then, one night, something new happened. A voice. Whispered. Raspy. Like it had been screaming for hours but never stopped. It said,
"I'm still down here."
Mason froze. Every hair on his body stood up. He didn't breathe. He didn't move. He never told anyone. But curiosity and fear kept him up every night, waiting, listening, until one night the voice said something different. "Come down. It's your turn." Mason grabbed the chair, climbed up, and unscrewed the vent cover with trembling hands. Nothing but darkness stared back. He reached inside. His fingers brushed something cold. Not metal, not dust. A hand. It grabbed him. They found Mason's room empty the next morning. No signs of struggle. Just the vent cover lying neatly on his bed. And inside the vent, scrawled in dust, "I'm not alone anymore." Story 2, The Boy in the Static. After her grandfather passed, Mia inherited his old TV. A giant, boxy set from the 90s that barely worked. Out of nostalgia, she kept it in her bedroom. One night, during a storm, the TV turned itself on, blasting pure static. The volume maxed out, white noise flooding the room. But there, hidden in the static, was a boy, flickering in and out, grainy and pale, standing motionless inside the snowstorm. She turned off the TV. It turned back on. Each night, he grew clearer, his face more visible, his lips moving. "Help me. He's behind me. He wants out." Mia tried unplugging the TV. That didn't work, so she smashed it. The next night, her bedroom mirror flickered, and the boy was still there. No longer behind the glass. He was standing at the foot of her bed. Story 3, Beneath the Bed. Timothy never feared monsters as a child, until the day his dog refused to enter his room. It would bark toward the bed, tail tucked, eyes wide. Tim shrugged it off until he started hearing whispers. Not from the closet, not from the window, but from underneath the bed. Each whisper said the same thing. "Don't move, or I'll take your place." He thought it was his imagination, until one night he woke up on the floor, and something was in his bed, breathing, slow and steady. When he looked under the bed, he saw himself, eyes wide open, whispering, "Don't move, or I'll take your place." Story 4, The Visitor That Mimics. Eli's little brother started sleep-talking. Not uncommon, but it was what he said that terrified them. Eli opened the door. "I'm locked out." But Eli was already inside the house. So who was locked out? Each night, his brother would repeat, "Eli, it's me. I need help." Eventually, Eli stayed up to record it. Around 2:46 a.m., his brother sat up, eyes blank, and whispered, Eli, let me in. Then a knock at the window. He lived on the third floor. The voice came again. Let me in, Eli. I'm cold. I'm you. He looked toward the window. A silhouette of himself stood outside, staring back. The next morning, his brother was gone. No signs of struggle. But that night, Eli sleep-talked. Story 6. The Echo Room. When Mark moved into his new apartment, he noticed something odd about the bedroom. No matter how quietly he spoke, his voice echoed, but only in that room. The strange part, the echo always came half a second too late, and it sounded just slightly off. One night, he tested it. He whispered, "Hello." The echo came back, "Hello." "Hell, no." Startled, he stood silent. Then he whispered again, "Who are you?" This time, the echo didn't repeat him. It said, "I'm beneath." He stared at the floor. That's when he noticed a hairline crack running across the wood, and a faint sound coming through it. Breathing. Story 7. The Burned Collar. Talia's phone rang at 2:17 a.m. No caller ID. Against her better judgment, she answered. The voice on the other end was garbled, like it was underwater or melting. "Why'd you leave me?" She hung up. Figured it was a prank. But it called again. "You promised you'd pull me out." She had no idea what it meant. Until the third call came with a sound in the background, the crackling of fire. Then she remembered. A childhood memory. A house that burned down. She'd never told anyone she saw a boy inside, and ran. The final call came through as a voicemail. "It's hot down here." Story 8. Under the Sheets. Every night, Dylan would fall asleep with his sheets tightly tucked in. He liked the security. One night, he woke up sweaty, feeling the sheets pulled tighter, like something was tucking him in. He thought it was a dream, until it happened again. But this time, he felt fingers. He threw the blanket off, nothing. The third night, he stayed awake, pretending to sleep. At 3:12 a.m., something crawled up beside him under the sheets, slowly, smoothly, like it had no bones. It whispered, "You always make room for me." Now, every morning, the sheets are tucked so tight he can't move. And something whispers, "Sleep in. Just a little longer." Story 9. The Wrong Passenger. A rideshare driver named Miguel picked up a man in a suit near the woods. The man didn't speak, just pointed ahead. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. Then Miguel asked, "Where are we headed?" The man finally spoke. "Home. But this road leads to nowhere," Miguel said. The man looked at him, smiling slightly. "Exactly." Miguel pulled over and turned to ask more questions, but the back seat was empty. The app still showed the trip was active. When he looked ahead, the same man was now standing in the middle of the road, staring. The app flashed. "Ride complete. Thank you for returning him." Story 10. The Night Shift. Jordan took a job at a 24-hour gas station out in the countryside. His coworker warned him, "Don't look at the mirrors after 2 a.m. Just don't." Jordan laughed it off. At 2:17 a.m., he was refilling the coffee when he glanced at the convex mirror in the corner. He froze. In the reflection, someone stood behind him, tall, pale, no eyes, just a wide grin stretching too far. He spun around. Nothing. When he looked back at the mirror, the figure was closer. Now right behind him, grinning into his ear. Jordan dropped the pot and ran out. The next morning, his manager called. Security footage shows you talking to yourself all night. You okay? He wasn't sure how to respond, especially because, in the video, his reflection never moved.